everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. Today I have a very special guest for the show. Can you go ahead and announce to the world who you are and where you're calling from?
Yes, my name is Tiffiany Frazier, and I am a certified life coach, and I am a author, aka poet, and I reside in Northwest Indiana.
Great. And can we talk about your past, however deep you want to get, and lead it up into what you do in your present?
Yes, ma'am. So, I had quite a few different things going on in my past that led up to my adulthood that I'm still dealing with. Trauma, mental abuse, physical abuse, and of course, all those things when you don't get help, it leads into your adulthood. Just dealing with mental abuse with men. My parents, they're deceased now, but I did get a lot of backlash from them. And it led up to,
What exactly, like backlash as in what? What happened?
well, for my dad, he was an alcoholic. So I'm just going to put it out there.
My
So that,
dad was a drug addict too. You can continue.
yes,
Nothing you
ma'am.
said.
So no, it's okay. So he was an alcoholic, but he was a functioning alcoholic.
Mhm.
But when you grow up in a house like that and you see a lot of physical and mental abuse with the parents, I didn't take that as a positive. I took it as a negative. So I thought it was okay for me to just, clown and act out because that's what I was seeing with my parents. And so even when they would try to reprimand me when I do stuff, it was never in a good light. So I was discouraged. So I had that self-esteem issue going to school and different things. I didn't grow out of that until I was an adult.
Okay. And what other how did Tiffany advocate for Tiffany? How did you get out of it?
Well, after grieving both of my parents, so I lost my mom to colon cancer, and then 3 years later, I had lost my dad. And so
I
my
lost
dad
my
has
mother to colon cancer too.
really,
Yeah.
wow, wow. So, and I grew up in the house by myself, so I didn't have any siblings. So, of course, that was a hit, and I didn't have no support. So, of course, I definitely thought I was a victim for years, holding unforgiveness. Like I would not even forgive them, and they were deceased.
Yeah.
I just had a big issue with that. But even after I was an adult, I still carried that anger with me as a young adult. After I had my daughter, I had this, I was getting angry. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I knew that I had to do something. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick and tired of, you know, oh, poor Tiffany, you're going through or want somebody, inviting that into that pity party. I knew I had to get some therapy.
How did you get therapy? When did you do you remember the day you got therapy and started your journey?
I started my journey right after my mom had passed away because I just had a baby.
Mhm.
But then I quit going to therapy after I started feeling better. And see, I know, and I knew better than that, but I just said, you know what? I have to survive right now. So therapy is just going to have to be put on hold. And then I was doing fine. But then when my father had passed away from alcoholism, I was back in that dark space again. And I was still raising my baby. I didn't know really what to do. I didn't have the support like that at that time. And so that's when the baby's father had intervened and was trying to build a case against me, just to make it seem like I was not mentally fit or physically fit to raise this child. And he did get her. And so I was holding unforgiveness. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was everything that, you could possibly think of.
I
Um,
sat up there, I don't mean to cut you off, but the same thing happened to me.
mhm.
I fought tooth and nail for my children. And as we fast forward, I have to I love my children, but I can't dwell on it. I could because I tried my best to be there as a mother. I took them to museums. I did everything a mother could possibly do, kept them in a positive way. But, they have been smothered by the toxicity of their side of the family. So you can continue. It's nothing. I'm loving this because I want to know the end. So go ahead.
Yes, no, that's okay. So that, I mean, that right there was, it was a mess. Let's just say that. And right before my dad had passed, I mean, he didn't want anything to do with it, and I'm just like, well, you like the only person that I have at this moment. You need to get involved, and my dad, he worked with the law. So I'm just like, I know that my father would help me, but he didn't, and I didn't have the money, and he had a big family, so that's what happened. They were able to pay, and they were able to get the lawyer that they wanted, and I was able to see her, but it was still tough because she's coming over, but they're telling her one thing, it was toxic. And
Hmm.
for years I had to deal with that. I'm just like, I just don't know, like what else to do. Um, for years I just had that unforgiveness in my heart. Like, how do people that have that type of soul in them, how do they excel? And then here I am trying to trying to focus on the Lord, trying to do things by the book, and I feel like I'm failing at life.
Wow, that is so deep. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. How am I feeling at life? But I, you know, the best thing I can say is keep up with God. God has a plan for you. The best thing I can say is that the more challenging the story is, the more better the results in the end. You know,
Love
um,
that.
yeah. Um, how did you how old is your child now?
She's 21 going on 22, and we have the best relationship ever.
I am proud of you for that. So you did have a positive outcome. That's
I
a good thing.
I did. At first I didn't think that, because he was coaching her.
Hmm.
He was coaching her, and I found that out. Um, So we wouldn't do group sessions because of the toxicity, the level that it was. We couldn't. So he would go with her, and then I had my time with her, and I would go with her. And right before we went to court for them to make that final decision, the lady told me at the therapy that she knew that the father was coaching her, but she never did anything about it when we went to court. She didn't say one word.
You know, the social worker that sat up there and was involved in the situation knew my child's father, and she knew my brother. And
Mhm.
her best friend was with my brother intimately, and he didn't want to be with her no more. So this was all retaliation.
See, I
Yeah,
just don't get it.
that's messed up.
It is messed up. And then you
Yeah.
just think, how do people with that type of mindset just excel at everything they do? Because I thought that for years. Like, here I am trying to do the right thing, and everything that he does illegally, at that point, because it's been over 20 years, things that are just not right. How are you getting away with treating somebody like that? No, we're not together, but I'm just like, we still have to co-parent, but why make it hard? I don't know why people just like to make it hard, because you're hurting your child, but in the end, and she still had to deal with that, and she still might be dealing with it. You know what I mean? We don't really talk about it. We have talked about it in the past, but I also had to forgive myself as well.
Do you talk exactly? Well said. Do you talk to your child's father still after this? Have y'all developed a bond since the? Because this was like basic training for y'all until she turned 18. Y'all had to
Right.
get along.
Yes. So, I don't really talk to him like that. I have seen him around a couple of times, and we do speak and hold a conversation. One thing I had to learn is, I understand that people do stuff, and I wouldn't do things that people would do and have done to me, but I had to forgive him no matter how pitiful it looked. I had to forgive just for myself, because I don't want that halo. I don't want that dark cloud over my head, keeping that in my heart, not being forgiven. And how would that look? Me being a motivational speaker and a life coach, and then I'm holding all these things. You're supposed to forgive. It's hard. I'm not saying that it's not easy, but I mean, it's just something that I knew that I had to do. So we have held a couple of conversations when I used to see him, but everything was grounded towards my daughter at the time.
Do y'all think y'all did a good job with your child? Y'all should pat each other on the back and give each other certificates because each of y'all played a role in the upbringing of your child.
Yes, and she's nothing like either one of us, which is I'm grateful for that. But her personality and everything, her focus is school and work, and that's it. Chasing the bag, and then she wants to get closer to God too, and that's all that she's about. She's very out there. She has a lot of friends. All the things that I really didn't have. Growing up, I didn't run with a big crowd or anything like that. I didn't really start doing that until I was in my 30s.
Okay.
So she's totally different than the both of us. But I'm glad that she picked a positive note instead of that negative Nancy like I did when I was going through it as a child. And sometimes I think back, like, if I would have picked the positive side, maybe I would be in a better position, or maybe this. But sometimes God allows things to happen to show us. But I was just hard headed. Like, I just kept having to go over the same test over and over again because I wasn't learning nothing, because I was just full of anger and I was
So,
hurt.
so do you think history sort of like repeated itself every year for you or every 5 years for you? Were you tested by God? You know, how would how would Jesus would have responded?
Oh, I like that. So I think that it would just repeat every year because I had a hard head. So the lessons that God was giving me, and I believed in God, but I really didn't have the connection because I was too busy, trying to scam and thinking. I was just full of, what can I do? Like, I couldn't even hear God's voice because I was hurt, and I'm trying to deal with this hurt. How am I supposed to do that? I had all these tabs open in my head. How am I supposed to focus on God's voice? You know, um, so I had to do something.
You said you were hurt. Do you think that this is like a healing process for you that you're going through right now?
I do. I really do. This year, well, I'll say the last 2 years, I would say that I felt calm, at peace. I'm able to respond in a positive note when things don't go right, and I feel like that is some type of growth right there. learning self-control and not flipping out when you can't, because you can't control other people and you can't control them being ignorant either. So I have, learned how to put myself in certain situations and be like, okay, because it's just not worth it. It's not worth it at the end. And I'm still, learning, because none of us are perfect. I'm still learning, but I know how to deal with situations better. And I can control my attitude, but I can't control others. So I just let them do what they want to do, and then I move on. I forgive you, but I just move on with life. I have to keep my focus on God and trust in Him that each test that I go through is to strengthen me. And I see it as an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it said in the book of James, I keep that in my head when things go to the left.
What does that mean?
So James in the book of James, it says when trouble comes, take that as an opportunity for growth. So don't like freak out when, okay, maybe I thought I was going to get this job, or I thought I was going to do this. I thought I was going to travel, or I thought this big opportunity and I missed it. And then you're angry and mad. Sometimes think closed doors are, a blessing.
Yeah, yeah, closed doors are a blessing.
Because
You know.
I have been in a position where I used to get mad because I didn't get like the ideal job, or I wanted to travel, or I missed it, or just whatever the situation would be. I said, maybe it's a closed door for a reason. Maybe it's a reason why I didn't get the job, a reason why I'm not supposed to be on that plane. You know, I think other people's
How
thoughts.
did you go around that? How did you when you were thinking, you see you were thinking
Hmm.
negative thoughts. How did you get around that to start thinking, well, you know what, I may didn't get on that plane, but maybe later on down the road I will be on that plane. Or maybe some money, you come into some money and you could be on that plane sooner than you think.
Okay, so what I do, because I am an overthinker, so sometimes I let my thoughts get away a little bit more often than they should. So what I do is I take my thoughts captive and then I give them to God. So what I do is whatever image or whatever that's negative, I picture like a cloud. Okay. And so I put all that negative in that cloud, and I do all of it, whatever it is. And then I'm like, okay, God, I'm giving it to you. So that is what I do. And I don't think about it anymore. And I said, just like it said in Corinthians, I can take every thought captive to be made obedient to Jesus. And I don't think about that anymore. And every time that I start thinking that way, that is exactly what I do. And that thought is gone. But it's a practice, because it didn't that's it. And I mean, that's something that you have to continue to do when your thoughts get away with you.
Okay. And tell me before, because we got like 12, 13 minutes, tell me about where you have done motivational speaking at and how have you changed? Has anyone ever told you you changed their life? And if they haven't, you've changed my life. And I thank you for that. This whole show.
Thank you. Thank you. So I did a motivational speaking event. I believe it was this March. I had took a new position, and I had met a coworker friend, and she has like a lipstick line. And so she said, hey, I do this event. So I did her event. I'm more of a speaking, like, not really in schools, but when I'm going out, I like to speak in crowds. I'm the one that's kind of like on the corner. And so I relocated to a different city now, and so I'm always speaking. So I really haven't done like a whole lot of events, but when I had my LLC, I did like a lot of talking. So I used to have my own business, but right now, and I still do coaching on the side, but I am currently in school full time for my master's in psychology. So once I do that, I'm going to reopen my LLC.
Wow, 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 wow.
I got a plan. Like I have to do it. You know, I'm working on my second poetry book. And that did really well. I like writing, and I wasn't even trying to do a book. When in the lockdown, I was just
Have
writing.
you found a publisher?
I said I did find a publisher.
Is they reputable where, they won't flip on you once the cash is in the hand? You know what I mean?
So, you know what? I'm gonna say that I won't be going with them again.
You won't?
I won't.
I won't either.
They
Yeah.
did a beautiful outlay of the poetry book. I loved how everything went, but then at the end, it went to the left real quick. I said, "What the world?" I said, "What is going on?" So now I'm almost done with my second book. I won't be going. I just won't. I will not be going with them.
You know what's funny? You said you speak at events. You said you speak at you're the person in the crowd at the store. Have you ever thought about probably getting into politics or something?
You know what? I thought about it briefly.
Councilwoman Frazier or
All right.
something?
I thought about it briefly, but then I was just like, I don't know if I would be good, at doing that because I do talk a lot. My daughter, she hasn't been to the grocery store with me in years. It's probably been 2 years because she said that why did you have to always, talk to everybody? She said, Ma, you know everybody. So she hasn't been to the store with me in 2 years because she probably thinks she's gonna stop and talk to somebody.
Well, at least on a good note, at least you do talk to everybody. That means people out there know can give you good reputation, a good reputation. If people start searching for you, if you ever did want to get into council, being a councilwoman.
Right. Yeah, I just like talking to people. It don't matter where I'm at. I'm going to talk. And that's, I just like talking to people. I'll
Do
stop and
you like do you
say,
like changing events? Do you like talking about what's going on in politics and stuff?
I don't.
Well, that's still good. That's
Yeah.
some people talk and some people don't.
Yes. So yeah,
What
like
do you talk about?
yes. So I just like to talk. And that's something that my daughter, when she's with me, she doesn't want me. She just wants me to go to that store, get what I need, and then she want me to get up out of there. But no, I like to sit and talk to people. And then most times I'm sitting there because people want to tell me like their whole life story. And then they'll say, I don't even know why I'm telling you all this. And I'm like, well, I know why
You
you're.
need to research that. I think you're probably special. You're probably an angel in disguise and don't even know it.
Yeah, I get a lot of people that would just
Yeah.
stop me and just hold the conversation, and maybe they're just venting. But I'm just
Mhm.
like, maybe I just got that type of, I definitely must have something because we don't know each other. And then they're like, I don't know you. Why did I just say that to you? I'm just like, well, I'm here. So whatever you gotta, release, just, talk to me about it because I'm not going to judge you.
What are you going to do with your psychology degree once you get your master's?
You know what? That is a good question because right now I'm in general psychology and I'm just not sure which way that I want to go. I know I want to do a specialty. I was thinking about neuro
Mm.
and thinking about forensic, but I
Mhm.
don't want to work them late hours. I want to be in bed at a certain time. I'm kind of middle aged and kind of getting up there in age. So
Mhm.
I was reading how you work late, and I don't want to be doing all of that. I want the idea job. I want, when I do my patients, I'm not trying to cram everybody in. I want quantity. I want quality. I want to be able to spend time with my patients. So I don't know where I'm going to go with it. I got 2 years. So hopefully, I can find something that's just right up my alley. So we'll see what happens.
Where do you see yourself going in the future?
Ooh. So after I graduate with my master's, I want to work a little bit and gain experience. Then I want to really open up my LLC and I want to work for myself. So that is my plan. Um,
How do you plan on, have you gotten a business plan? Have you been on ChatGPT to make a business plan? Because that's an easy way to make a business
I
plan
know,
these days.
I
Yeah.
know. I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't, but I said you gotta start putting stuff. I said because you blink your eyes. I mean, it's going by so fast. It's like life is just going by. The time is going by so fast. I said I do need to start making plans of how I want it. So when I graduate and I get, gain that experience, then I've already have everything laid out. But I do would like to restart my own business.
Okay. And how can the people reach you?
How can they reach me? They
Yeah.
can reach me at so my email address is tfrazier980@gmail.com. And my telephone number it is 219-308-2052. They can email me. They can call me. That would be the best way. They can text me. That would be the best way for them to get in touch for those who would love to.
Are you still doing coaching a little bit on the side?
I am.
Okay.
So I work full time as a behavior health care coordinator. So I work 10 hours a day, then I go to school at night, and then I do still coach when I have the free time.
Okay, so you hear that, you guys. If y'all want coaching from Tiffany, please reach her at those places. So, thank you everyone for joining my show today. Y'all take care. Stay on the line, Tiffany. Take care, you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Never waste my time. You are I want.